This section is about Chapter 3, Moments of Bliss. Bonfires, sunsets, and stolen kisses. Yet even perfect moments carry the shadow of time.
Happiness arrived quietly, without fanfare, but once it settled in, it colored everything. Emma and Daniel found themselves living in a rhythm that felt both spontaneous and inevitable, as if they had always known the steps to this dance. Their mornings often began together now. Sometimes Emma sketched while Daniel made breakfast, pancakes that were never perfectly round, toast that was sometimes too crisp. She teased him mercilessly for his culinary creativity, but she always ate everything he put in front of her. He countered by secretly photographing her sketches and setting them as his phone wallpaper. Weekends became their sanctuary. They'd pack small bags, books, sandwiches, a thermos of tea, and escape the city. They lay on blankets in sunlit meadows, reading aloud to each other or falling into companionable silence. Sometimes Emma painted while Daniel napped, his head pillowed on her lap, his hand loosely holding hers even in sleep. The beach trips became more frequent too. They chased each other through the surf like children, daring the waves to knock them down. At night, they built small fires on the sand, watching sparks fly into the star-filled sky. With the crash of waves in the background, Emma would rest her head against Daniel's chest and think, "This is what safety feels like." In the city, they invented rituals. Every Tuesday, they tried a new cafe, rating the coffee and keeping a secret scorecard. On Thursdays, they cooked together, Emma chopping vegetables, Daniel attempting sauces, the kitchen filling with laughter and the occasional smoke alarm. Fridays were for movies, often old black-and-white films that Emma loved, though Daniel secretly enjoyed them more than he admitted. Their apartments blurred into one space. Emma left her scarf draped over Daniel's chair. His books migrated to her shelves. Sometimes they forgot whose things were whose. It no longer mattered. Evenings often ended with them sprawled together on the couch, her sketchbook on his chest, his hand absently stroking her hair. Their love showed itself in small gestures. Daniel left notes on her desk before leaving for work. "Good luck with the project today. Proud of you." Emma slipped drawings into his bag, quick doodles of him at his desk or running in the rain. They collected these tokens without ceremony, yet both secretly kept every single one. One evening, they took a boat ride on the river. Lanterns floated along the water, casting reflections that shimmered like fireflies. Emma leaned over the railing, her hair brushing Daniel's cheek. He whispered something she couldn't quite catch, and when she asked him to repeat it, he only shook his head, smiling mysteriously. They made friends with strangers too. An old bookseller who reserved special finds for them, a violinist who played near their favorite cafe, a baker who slipped them extra pastries for luck. The city began to recognize them as a pair, and somehow, that recognition deepened their bond. On Emma's birthday, Daniel orchestrated a surprise. He filled her apartment with fairy lights, covering the walls with photo booth strips and sketches she had given him. In the center of the room, a small table was set with her favorite food, sushi and pear tart. Emma walked in and froze, her hand pressed to her mouth. She turned to him with tears in her eyes. "You remembered everything." "I remember all of it," Daniel replied simply. They danced again that night, slowly, to no music at all. Their bodies swayed in rhythm only they could hear. At some point, Emma whispered into his shoulder, "I'm so happy I found you." Daniel closed his eyes, holding her tighter, silently repeating the same words back. Travel entered their story again. They visited Lisbon together, the city Daniel had once mentioned over a travel book. They walked through narrow alleys, ate pastries each morning, and painted the rooftops red in Emma's sketchbook. On their last night, they stood at the edge of a cliff overlooking the sea, the wind tugging at their clothes. Emma whispered, "This feels like forever." Even ordinary days felt enchanted. Grocery shopping turned into a comedy show of them debating brands of pasta. Waiting for a bus became an excuse for Emma to rest her head on his shoulder. Even laundry felt intimate when their clothes mingled together in the same basket. It wasn't that life had become easier. They still had deadlines, long commutes, bills. But everything was softened by the fact that they faced it together. Bliss wasn't the absence of challenge. It was the presence of love strong enough to absorb it all. One autumn afternoon, they returned to the square with a photo booth. They hadn't planned to, but when they saw it, Emma grinned and tugged Daniel toward it. Inside, they crowded together again, laughing before the first flash. This time, the photos showed not the nervous spark of strangers, but the ease of lovers who already knew how much they meant to each other. As winter approached, they walked hand in hand through holiday markets, the scent of mulled wine and roasted nuts filling the air. They bought scarves for each other, Daniel's too long, Emma's too bright, and wore them proudly. Snow fell one evening as they stood beneath a lamppost. Emma tilted her face up, catching flakes on her eyelashes. Daniel kissed her softly then, snowflakes melting on their lips. Bliss lived not only in the grand gestures, but in the way they looked at each other across a crowded room, or the quiet reassurance of a hand squeeze before an important day. They carried the certainty of belonging, and it gave them both a peace they hadn't known before. They didn't know what the future would bring, but in those moments, it didn't need to. Each day was enough. Each shared laugh, each late-night conversation, each kiss goodnight was its own eternity.
If you love romance, emotional storytelling, and cinematic vibes, this is for you. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share this story with someone who believes in true love.